And now it is time for the breakdown of the Fantastic Four trailer. So let's get into all the details that we see in this first trailer and talk about what exactly this film is all about. So of course, we are going to get right into the trailer and everything we see here. So let's get to the first shot of the actual trailer, which is a shot featuring Reed and Storm walking into what we can clearly see is a apartment, or really their home, overlooking the skyline of New York City, which of course in this instance is completely different. It's bathed in that retro futurism feel and style that we see here. And we know that the film is set during the 60s, and you get that vibe from not just the clothing, but also the aesthetics and what they did with the building and the specific colors that they're using, which convey this. And also here, we get the first hint of how Reed is punctual, how he has to be exactly on time, as he's talking about how every week it's dinner here at the same time, like on the dot. Again, that's very much the Reed Richards thing to do and say. We then got a really cool shot of the Baxter building. Now, this is something that we knew from set photos was going to be different. We knew it, and here's what it looks like. I love that in the middle you can see that there's like a launching pad or a giant gap where maybe you can go out, you can, grab something to eat while this is the Future Foundation doing what they do. Obviously, here's sort of like a take on the Avengers building, if you will, but with the Fantastic Four in this universe. And you can see that it's absolutely giant and towering over everything here. It's conveying that size of the Baxter building and everything that's going on in it, with, of course, that iconic four for the 4 astronauts. Hey, speaking of the 4 astronauts, we'll talk about them in a second because we got to talk about Herbie. Herbie the robot. Yes, the friendly robot Herbie is in this. I mean, she's straight up designed to sell merch. Let's just be real about this. That's why Herbie exists. It's going to work. Going to be a cute little robot running around, getting into some antics. Looks awesome as well. But Herbie's not alone, as he walks on over to Ben Grimm, aka The Thing. Now, The Thing is a practical and CG creation, and you can tell that they're really taking their time on this. Like, it doesn't have that glossy Spider-Man look to it that's flat. It doesn't have some of those aesthetics that a lot of Marvel Studios projects since the ending of Phase 1 all the way till now have had, It's like a pick and choose your own adventure style of what looks too glossy and CG and what looks real good. Here, The Thing looks superb. Like, I did not expect him to look this good, but they nailed the feel, the aesthetics, the giant eyebrows, and the forehead. It's all here. Like, he looks perfect. You cannot get better than this design. And also, if we look at it from another angle, you can tell that this suit here that he's wearing, how just like detailed it is, and you can tell it has that Marvel line patterning. So when dirt and grime gets into it, it's going to look real nice. Like, it's going to have a nice weathering effect to it that's just going to make it pop a little bit more. Sort of like Captain America's suit in the first Avengers film. When you see it clean, you're like, but when it gets dirtied up, you're like, okay, now that looks good. Speaking of looking good, well, Reed Richards is looking into the multiverse here. We know that this was a scene that was described where Reed is studying what's going on, studying incursions and what's happening, and also some looming threats that are heading towards Earth, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But we also know that Reed teaches. He's running the Future Foundation, and they're teaching the next generation of students. Now, we don't see if their children are in this. That's been alluded to by all the insiders saying they're 100% in this. We don't see Franklin. We don't see Valeria, but maybe they're in this, maybe they're not. We'll find out maybe in the next trailer. We then got the 4 members suited up. Now, this is like the first time, the first flight, the first mission they took, right? We know we're not getting the complete origin story told us in a normal way. So this is going to be a great way to just quickly get to it and talk about what's going on, as a majority of the film is them as celebrities on this Earth, doing their thing. So this is going to be flashbacks. You can see what flashbacks are due to the way that the aspect ratio is. This is, 4:3, standard old school TV, where everything that's modern that's not going to be a flashback is widescreen. And speaking of widescreen, we're back to it where we see their rocket. This is like their maiden voyage, right? The first time they took off, this is when the accident happens in space. The rocket ship here is really cool. Like, it has that aesthetic of, hey, in the 60s, this is our rockets now, but what are they going to look like in the year 2000? Here's your design, right? Like, this is that retro futurism at its peak right here. Now, since I talked a little bit about the accident in space, we have it here. We see both of them transforming here, or at least we see Sue. We don't know what's going on with Reed. I'm assuming he's probably going through it as well. But we see the Invisible Woman doing her thing. She's like blinking in and out of existence with invisibility, obviously. And, they're sharing a moment here because chances are they're going to convey that they probably think that they're dying, and that's horrific. Let's be real. And if there's one sequence I like out of Fantastic from Josh Trank, it's the sequence where they're all using their powers or doing the metamorphosis the first time. It has this like Cronenberg horror feel to it that's just unsettling. The best scene in that movie is that, and I hope they capture an element of that here because it truly would be horrific to experience something like that. Oh my god, I just praised Fantastic. What's happening? Anyways, though, here's Ben Grimm, the thing, and he's got that lovable look that people love it when he does it, where he tosses on a giant coat and a hat, so he's hoping people don't pick up that it's him while he's walking around. And see right here how he's watching footage of what happened. My guess is that this is how we're going to get the history and the accident conveyed to us. It's going to be like this when he's like watching a TV. And just another quick shot of Ben Grimm here. Oh my god, he looks so good. I am obsessed with how like they nailed this look. And of course, if we look behind him, we can see that, it's nighttime, it's New York, and you can definitely tell there's still very much a period piece, although the Fantastic Four have some advanced tech, right? Next up, we got a shot of Johnny Storm, and he takes off from the Fantastic Four building. He does the flame on thing. He starts flying off into the sky. And this is more than likely a shot that's later in the trailer, which I'll talk about when we get to it. But his special effects here look real good. I mean, Human Torch has looked good in all the other films. Well, maybe not the Roger Corman 90s film, but, that was circumstantial to what they were given, which wasn't a whole lot. But here, it looks great. A wonderful shot of the takeoff from Earth. I mean, this is just a stunning, beautiful shot. Another great shot is Invisible Woman using her powers on the street. Now, obviously, this is a giant action sequence. A lot of people are saying this might be the third act. I'm going to counter that by saying this is the first act. This is when they fight Mole Man. And this is going to be the opening act of the film. After that, we're going to get to Ben Grimm walking around. That's when we're going to get the flashback and how it's framed. So this is definitely, in my opinion, not the third act final blow-off battle. And I will say, I wasn't sold on Vanessa Kirby when they announced her. And seeing some of the set photos, I was a little bit more into her as Sue Storm. But here, she looks and sounds the part. So I am glad I was, at least for now, super wrong on it. I just hope that she delivers the role because Sue is the most important member of the Fantastic Four. She has to be, like, on point. And she looks the part, so let's hope that this is just about as perfect as it gets. Okay, another amazing shot in here. Johnny Storm, as he's flying up above Earth, we obviously see either a sunrise or a sunset. I'm going to guess it's a sunrise, but I can't be sure about that. I don't know the exact location he's at. But this shot is then followed up with the same shot from a different angle, where we see him, just above. It's a really good shot. Obviously, we know this is when he's going to, like, flame on, and it's going to be an absolutely amazing scene here. It's Johnny doing what he does, being the daredevil that he is. He's pushing his limits to see how far he can go. Now, just for a second, we got to get back to this shot. So we got the shot of Johnny taking off, and I think that this shot is leading us into this shot, where there's something coming for New York, something above New York. There's a lot of lights. There's seemingly an explosion, or maybe even, I don't know, asteroids coming down or something. Can't really make it out entirely, but you see the Fantastic Four here, so it's obviously not, as some people are suspecting, their rocket blowing up, because that doesn't make sense. Like, they're right there, the four of them, so this is them awaiting the arrival of something. which we'll talk about in a bit because, again, the shots are framed differently. This might, in my opinion, be the arrival of the Surfer, who's like blown up the space station or something. Now, in this universe, we know that the Fantastic Four are the only heroes, so it makes sense that they're loving the Fantastic Four. They're celebrities. Look at that. They got the little masks that they're going to sell for Halloween. They got some merch that Disney's going to be selling. I mean, it looks great. I absolutely love when comic book films or TV shows do this, where they show that these heroes have had impact on the real world. So this, to me, is like chef's kiss good. Mwah. Speaking of chef's kiss good, we got the Fantasticar. We know it flies. We know it's going to take off. They don't show it to us here, but this is more than likely when it's speeding down the street and it's gonna take off. So they're probably still working on those special effects, but man, does the Fantasticar look good here. And I can't wait to see what it's gonna look like when they're in the proper MCU 616 and how it evolves. Then we got a shot of Ben Grimm running. Again, this is a giant battle that's happening. And again, I'm saying that this is either Mole Man fight or fighting and running towards Galactus during the daytime. And speaking of him, we got him casting a big old shadow over New York, and then a big old glorious shot of Galactus from the back of the head looking over the Statue of Liberty. Just, it's sort of showing you the size of him right now. Obviously, he's not as big as Celestials. He's actually kind of tiny, all things considered. But again, this is not the end of Galactus, you know? We kind of know that. So it'll be interesting to see if he grows and how much bigger he's going to get, or maybe the more he consumes, the bigger he's getting. And this is one of his earlier pit stops trying to stop this Earth and consume it. And then we got a shot of the first family, the Fantastic Four here. This is probably a shot where they're being revealed to the world for like the first time. Hey, those heroes that have been doing and saving you around the town, well, check it out. Here they are. They're the Fantastic Four, you know, celebrity status, right? I feel like that's what they're going for here. I like it. Like, you see all of them lined up and what their suits look like. They look phenomenal. And that might be an understatement from me. Like, these suits are just about as good as they get, you know? They got the retro aesthetic, but they look futuristic. They got the space feel on it. Like, they nailed the design for these in just about every single way. There we go, guys. A breakdown of the trailer. Obviously, there's some other stuff in the trailer that's worth talking about, which I'm pretty sure will be discussed in the next couple days and probably even later today. So stay tuned, and hopefully you guys enjoyed my breakdown. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will, and if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.